The point of appetite has been long used by the enemy to try to tempt men into disobedience. Since the first surrender of appetite, mankind has been growing more and more self-indulgence until health has been sacrificed on the altar of appetite. Esau lusted for a favorite dish and sacrificed his birthright. He represents a class who have a special valuable blessing within their reach, the immortal inheritance, but who have long indulged their appetites, passions, and inclinations, that their power to discern and appreciate the value of eternal things is weakened. Revelation 12:12 says that the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Many turn from light and knowledge to sacrifice principle to taste. Flavoring agents are food additives. They're chemicals that impart flavors or fragrances and are added to food to modify its aroma or taste. They are the most common type of additive used in foods, with hundreds of varieties used in everything from confectionery and soft drinks to cereals, baked goods, and yogurt. Monosodium glutamate, also known as MSG, is one of the most widely used food additives in commercial foods. In many countries, MSG is also known as China salt. MSG gives a special taste and aroma to processed foods, which is known as umami in Japanese. Monosodium glutamate is the go-to add-in to create a heightened flavor experience. So much so that this menacing flavor enhancement is used in almost all manufactured foods and by all restaurant chains. But how does it work? Concentrated glutamic acid, or MSG, acts as a nerve stimulant and will change how the taste buds actually taste your food. If you do a superficial search on Google, you'll find that the FDA considers monosodium glutamate as generally recognized as safe. But in numerous studies, MSG has been associated with various forms of toxicity, metabolic disorders, neurotoxic effects, and detrimental effects on the reproductive organs. This flavor enhancer is linked to fibromyalgia, fatty liver, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, liver toxicity, high blood pressure, disturbance to the gut-brain connection, neurological and brain damage. MSG also works as an obesogen. MSG-induced obesity is such an accepted concept in scientific circles that when studies require obese animals, the first thing they are given is MSG. In fact, scientists in Spain found that giving laboratory rats MSG increased their food intake by 40%. MSG affects the neurons of the hypothalamus that control body mass and energy metabolism. Monosodium glutamate is an excitotoxin. This means that it can cross the blood-brain barrier and overexcite your brain cells to the point of damage or death, causing brain damage to varying degrees and potentially even triggering or worsening learning disabilities, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's disease, and more. Micronutrients in the body are also depleted because these antioxidants are constantly being used to repair the damage that is caused by this MSG brain toxicity. Monosodium glutamate administration has been linked to neurotoxicity and behavioral changes such as increased aggression, decreased locomotor activity, and muscle weakness. This was a 2014 study. This study from 2024, entitled Natural Products as Safeguards Against Monosodium Glutamate-Induced Toxicity, states, its neurotoxicity associates with overactivation of excitatory amino acid receptors resulting in cell death. MSG administration destroys neurons of the hypothalamus in rats, which causes many metabolic abnormalities, growth disturbances, obesity, and hypogonadism. In addition, it is documented that MSG induces neuroendocrine abnormalities, which cause anxiety and depressive-like behaviors, metabolic dysfunctions, obesity, insulin resistance, glucose intolerance, and chronic inflammation. The hippocampus is one of the most vulnerable brain regions to glutamate excitotoxicity and has an important role in spatial learning and memory. Recently, it was found that rats exposed to low doses of MSG showed reduction in learning capabilities and short-term memory on the forebrain in the hippocampus. This is another study entitled Association Between Monosodium Glutamate Consumption with Changes in Gut Microbiota and Related Metabolic Dysbiosis concludes excessive consumption of MSG can elevate the risk of cardiovascular diseases and disrupt the functioning of the gut microbiome. Furthermore, long-term consumption of MSG can have significant effects on the metabolism of TMA, which is blood clotting, branched chain amino acids, and vitamin B6, as well as on the combined changes in the gut microbiota, renal, and liver metabolism. Studies have shown that MSG damages male reproductive organs like prostate glands and epididymis and decreases testosterone and sperm count. Exposure to MSG has also been associated with ovulatory sterility in females. The study also states that precautions should be taken when utilizing MSG, especially for females associated with high risk of hormonal disturbance. And the safety guidelines on the tolerable limit of MSG in a biological system should be revisited, and there should be adequate sensitization of the global populace on its potential toxic effects. The FDA does not require manufacturers to label food as having MSG unless this added ingredient is 99% pure. So manufacturers hide MSG and use over 50 different names. Here is a list. And for example, anything with the word glutamate, anything hydrolyzed, anything autolyzed is MSG. Ingredients that always contain MSG are carrageenan, bouillon, natural flavors, remember that one, maltodextrin, citric acid, citrate. Also, when you see the word modified food starch, dextrose, and seasonings, those also contain MSG. So just because it looks good and tastes good does not mean that it is good. Satan knows that he cannot overcome man unless he can control his will. He can do this by deceiving man so that he will cooperate with him in transgressing the laws of nature. Our habits of eating and drinking show whether we are of the world or among the number that the Lord, by his mighty cleaver of truth, has separated from the world. The Lord needs a people to resist the devil. He needs a people who he can fill with the latter rain power of the Holy Spirit and give the final message to the world to get ready for the soon coming of Jesus. We are the Daniels who do not eat the king's meat. We are the Elijahs. We are the John the Baptists crying in the wilderness, preparing the way for the coming of the Lord. Revelation 14:1, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. I want to be in that number. Amen. Do you?